Okay, here we are live on my very first Facebook Live, official Facebook Live. So first of all, welcome to the international headquarters of Sync to CRM and home of the Snyder Growth Method workshops. I am so glad that you guys could join me on my first official Facebook Live broadcast. Just so you know, I did a quick test run about a week or so ago, but that was just me walking down my barn aisle, which is just off to my left, and introducing everybody to my horses. This one's going to definitely be much more relevant to you if you are a small business trying to get more leads so that you can grow your business. In fact, my topic today is 3 reasons your Facebook ad campaigns are not working. But before we get to that, let me just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Kim Snyder. I have started 13 companies, one of which I took to number 826 on the Inc. 5,000 list of fastest growing companies in America. In fact, we were on that Inc. list 2 years running. So I'm an entrepreneur, just like you, I guess is probably the most important point. What I am uber passionate about right now is Facebook advertising, because I think it represents both an epic threat and an epic opportunity for small business. So I sold company number 12 about a year ago. That was the API guys, in order to really focus on Facebook advertising. And the reason I started Sync to CRM is in order to focus on helping you get ahead of a wave that and you've probably heard me say this before if you've been around for a while. It's a wave that I think has the potential to either kill your business if you miss it, mine as well, right? Or make you massive amounts of money if you catch it. So specifically, my mission is to help you cut through the clutter that is surrounding Facebook advertising right now, and give you real world actionable systems so that you can get more leads and grow your business without having to spend a bunch of time sorting the wheat from the chaff, when obviously as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, time is the last thing that you have a lot of. Okay, so hopefully all that was sufficient introduction for those of you who don't know me or don't know me very well, and it was a good stall for time while we let some of the viewers figure their way on to the broadcast. So now I am excused that I'm going to reach out and touch you guys, but since this is my very first Facebook Live broadcast, I want to see how I can see. I can see that I can see your comments if you type in the comment box, but I'm not sure how I know who is here. I guess I don't unless you type it in the comments and let me know that you're here. So I'm gonna move on into the topic out of the interest of time, but I'd love to know who all's here. So just give me a shout out in the comments if you want to, and let me know that you are here, and then I'll go away and I'll move on. That said, I'm just caveat. This is my very first Facebook Live broadcast. I have never done this before, so I am sure who knows. I have a light there that looks like it's about to fall over, and I'm sure something will go wrong. So I promise, whatever it does, it'll get better, right? All right. Anyway, here we go. On to the topic of the day. So a quick little backstory before I jump in. The reason that I decided to talk about this topic is that I can tell from the Facebook group, and also in my coaching calls that I've been doing with clients and prospects, that this is this is an issue for lots of you just getting started with Facebook advertising. And the scenario generally looks something like this. You've heard somehow or another that Facebook is amazing and awesome for acquiring new leads. And, you know, maybe you've taken a course from someone, whatever, Amy Porterfield or digital marketer or someone, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you're just, you know, hacking around trying to figure it out on your own. But regardless, one way or another, you've gotten at least one campaign running and it's not working, it's not converting. And sadly, what happens a lot of the time, from my experience, is that someone just throws their hands up in the air and declares that, you know, Facebook ads don't work, or you know, Facebook ads don't work for my audience or my niche, or, you know, or whatever. So first of all, let me just set the record straight on that one point before we get to the three reasons this may be happening. Facebook advertising does work when you do it right. Facebook didn't make $3.69 billion on advertising last year because it didn't work or doesn't work. And whenever I hear someone say, well, how do I know, you know, will it work for this audience or that audience? My audience is older. My audience is women. My audience is morticians, whatever. You know, the answer is always that in and amongst those 1.5 billion daily active users on Facebook, there are enough of whatever your target audience is for you to be successful with Facebook advertising, okay? So that's not the issue. So let's talk about what is the issue. Let's talk about the three most common reasons that I see or have seen here recently that your campaigns aren't working. And here's number one. Number one is that you are selling too early. In fact, I would bet that this is the problem for 80% of you who have campaigns that aren't performing the way you expected. Now, what do I mean by that? That you're selling too early? I'm not the first one to use this analogy. Ryan Deiss uses it, Keith Krantz uses it, but we all use it because it's the easiest way to understand this problem. Marketing is a process of creating a relationship with someone, meaning you simply cannot walk up to someone that you have never met, who doesn't know anything about you, doesn't know what it is that you do, and ask them to marry you. Your chances of success if you do that are nil. In fact, you probably can't even walk up to someone that you don't know, like cold, and ask them for a date, you know, without at least having some sort of a conversation with them where the two of you get to know one another. You get to decide, you know, if you are cool or creepy, or you know, I can decide if you're interesting or not, or if you're my type or not. There has to be some sort of, unless it's just like love at first sight across the room, which just doesn't happen, right? There's got to be that something there first. And yet, that is exactly what you are doing with your ad campaigns when you run them straight to a sales page, which is basically like proposing, you know, proposing marriage. Or even if you're just running them straight to the lead magnet opt-in page, which is still the equivalent basically of asking for a date. It's not gonna work. So if that's what you're doing, you need to just pause the campaign right now, seriously, because you're just throwing money away. It is not gonna work. That's what I mean by selling too early. So what do you do instead? Well, in my Snyder Growth Method workshops, I'm teaching this 9-step method that I've developed for growing Sync to CRM. And in that system, what you would see is that the first ads I ever run are always going to be to content. And so, you know, maybe they're to a blog post, maybe they're to videos. In fact, you know, I'm running ads to both right now. And in fact, part of the strategy, just behind the scenes here, of doing these Facebook Live broadcasts is that I will also run ads to the archive of these as well, right? And so the goal of these is to get cold traffic, meaning people who don't know you from Adam, to get to know you. That's the idea. And that content acts like that conversation, that icebreaker conversation, or that series of conversations before you finally ask someone out on a date, so that by the time you do, they know whether they like you or not. And in this case, not only do they know whether they like you or not, they have a sense of what you do. You know, this video gives you a really good sense of not just what I do, but how I do it, you know, and whether you want to progress to the next step with me or not. And the way that someone gets to the next step, which is of course the equivalent of asking for the first date, well, it's that you use Facebook custom audiences to retarget all the people who have viewed your blog or watched your videos. You retarget them, sending them, you know, an ad for your lead magnet, because then they're no longer cold traffic, they are warm traffic, okay? And so what I have seen when I've explained this process to people is I see a lot of people who they don't have the patience for this. They want to go straight for the sale. But, you know, so here's a couple things. First of all, you know, if it's patience, you know, that you're lacking, this process doesn't have to take weeks to play out. And I promise you it works. So just, you know, giving you an idea, I am currently growing my email list at about 10% per week using this method, okay? Content, either video and or ad, and then retargeted to a lead magnet. That's simple. That is the problem for most of you. Okay, now let's talk about what reason number 2 is. And by the way, just checking in with you guys, I am going to take questions at the end. So I want to buzz through this because I see we're about 13 minutes in. But so feel free to throw them in there, and we'll get to them. All right. So let's talk about the second reason that your ads don't work. The second reason is because your offer is just not compelling. At least it's not compelling to the people that you're showing the ads to. So, you know, going back to the relationship example, if you are, let's just say that you're asking someone to marry you who's already married. Well, you're never going to close that deal, right? Which is an example of a offer that may be very compelling, but you've made the offer to the wrong person. Okay, so your issue, when I say that your offer is not compelling, your issue could be incorrect targeting, right? Which is what that was the example. Or it could be that, for example, your lead magnet just isn't as interesting to your target audience as you think it is. I actually have had that a lot. I have been through a bunch of lead magnet ideas, and because my problem is I tend to think way too far ahead, right? Like I want to show people what's cool and awesome, and actually what most people want is what's pretty simple, you know, and so my first 4 or 5 didn't perform that well, you know. Now I'm getting better. You know, or similarly, it may be that whatever your lead magnet requires too big of a commitment, or it takes too long to consume. The point here is that, you know, Facebook can't take a sow's ear and turn it into a silk purse. If your offer is off, your ad isn't going to work. You know, that has nothing to do with Facebook. You have to have a good offer that's appealing to your target audience. Now, that said, that's one of the beauties of Facebook advertising. You know, first of all, you should know that you are almost never going to get it right the first time. None of us do, ever. This is an iterative process where you try something new, see how it works, tweak it, kill it, you know, test it against something else, see how it does, rinse and repeat over and over again. That's how it works. But here's the thing. Because Facebook is so cheap and dynamic, you can do this process of, you know, iterative process of testing and learning for not a lot of money and in a lot less time than you think. And I'll just give you an example. When I started Snyder Advisors, which was my investment firm, there was no such thing as digital marketing. So if you wanted to mass market, you have to use mass media, which in my case was radio. And the minimum commitment for me when I started doing radio for an ad flight was 2 weeks and $20,000, okay? So, I mean, you're putting a ton of money out there on the line. You have no idea if it's gonna work. You create these ads. There's no way to track them back to the results, no good way. Basically, you just like sprayed and prayed 20 grand, okay? Well, Facebook is not like that at all. With Facebook, you know, I'd say that you probably can and should plan to spend anywhere from, say, $20 to $40 a day testing out your campaigns until you get something that returns, not leads at a profit, customers at a profit, really. At which point, steps 7 through 9 in my method, in the Snyder Growth Method, are all about then scaling that up and adding, you know, more places to make money from your funnel. So actually, here's the best way I think to think about Facebook advertising. This is maybe a little bit of a tangent, sorry, but think of it as a game, right? Have you ever played a video game? The first time here's where I'm going with this. I see a lot of people, again, right, who don't have the patience for this testing and iterative thing. It's like they somehow think they should be Facebook geniuses on day one, and it doesn't work that way, right? So, you know, if you've played a video game, the first time you play that game, you don't know how it works. Nothing's familiar, the controls feel weird, and you crash and burn really fast, okay? But then you play again, and you're still, you know, awkward but this time you get a little bit further, and then after you play a few more times, then you sort of start to get the hang of it, and then from there, each time you play the game, then your game becomes a little bit more nuanced. You begin to recognize patterns, and then slowly but surely you work your way from like level 1 to level 2 to level 3, etc. And the longer you play, the better you become at the game. Well, that's exactly how Facebook advertising works. To just think that you're gonna instantly pick the game up and immediately go to level 10 is totally not realistic. If the video game analogy doesn't work for you, then think of anything that's a learned skill. Golf. polo, meditation, working out. Doesn't matter what, they're all the same, right? All of them take time to learn, to begin to show results, and to eventually master. And then, how far you take them is totally up to you. And the same is true of Facebook. So, just one more, while I'm like off on this tangent, here's just like another thought. Maybe now you're thinking, oh, okay, perfect. Well, so if that's the case, then I'm just going to hire someone who already knows how to play the game. Which you can, but understand something here too. While that person understands the game, they still are starting from scratch in terms of a scenario. Meaning, I'm maybe playing Facebook advertising in an urban street fight scene, but your game is on Mars. So the game itself is the same. But if you hire someone, they're still going to have to figure out, the audience, the offer, the creative, etc. Right? No two Facebook advertising games are going to be exactly the same. So even then, right, if you're going to hire someone, please understand that there's going to be a learning curve there too. Okay, so let's see. Where am I? Oh, third thing. Okay, so here is the third most common problem I see. And so first one was you're selling too early. Second one was your offer isn't compelling. The third one is that your ads aren't compelling. And so, so here the idea is, you may have a good offer and you're making that offer at the right time in the right sequence, but your images and or your copy just aren't converting. Or let's just say there's nothing wrong with your images or your ads. They're perfectly fine. You're getting clicks, but you're not getting conversion. So the landing page perhaps has an issue. So, again, going back to our game analogy, right? Mixing the metaphors a little bit, your campaign is just one big puzzle. And to get conversions, what you have to do is you have to show the right ad to the right person for the right thing at the right time to get the click, and then ultimately we hope the sale. And if any of those things are off, then your ad isn't going to perform as well as you might have hoped. But again, I don't want you to get discouraged, because this is the value of testing and iteration. So, and that, again, that's the beauty of Facebook, that you can do that and you should do that. Okay. So, just to recap, the three again, they are: number one, you are selling too early. Number two, your offer isn't compelling. And number three, your offer isn't compelling. Number three, your ad isn't compelling. Which, by the way, one of the most important aspects of your ad is your image, is the picture in the ad. And because the reason that's so is because the image's job is to catch someone's attention and get them to stop scrolling long enough to read your ad copy. Now, in my Snyder Growth Method workshops, one of the things that I'm talking about is formulas and using formulas. In fact, I have like this level, the second level is called formulas, so that we don't have to recreate the wheel. And I've taken 6 formulas for images that work and put them together in a guide for you. Actually, I think I might call it a checklist, but whatever, a guide, a checklist, whatever. Either way, the fastest way to get it is at the top of my Facebook page, which you may actually be on right now if you're watching this. Just click on the cover photo with the dog, which, by the way, cute dogs, cute animals, and cute children. I happen to be one of those formulas. And just click on that big image at the top and follow the link to the download page, and you can get that. And then also on your way, at some point, and maybe at the, and again, I don't have enough experience with this to know for sure, but I believe if you haven't already, you will have an opportunity to hit the subscribe button. And that will notify you in the future when I go live again, which I'm planning to do, for now anyway, every Tuesday around noon. And then we'll just kind of see how that works. All right, at this point, I'd be happy to kind of hang out. How much time do we have? 25 minutes. So I'm told that this is probably kind of close to the limit here, but anyway, I'm more than happy to hang out and answer any questions that you guys have. So if you want to drop them in the comment section, feel free, and I'll be happy to answer them. If not, we'll end here. So I'll just pause for a second and give you guys a chance to type in any questions you have. I don't know how many of you are on desktop or mobile. I guess it's probably a lot easier to do this on desktop than mobile. It's funny, actually, because I've got my iPhone up here, I'm seeing the notifications across the top. And so I see you guys signing up for the image checklist, which is awesome. But unless I'm missing it, I don't see you guys asking any questions. So I will, if there are no questions, I will go ahead and drop, in the interest of time, I guess, cut us out so that we can all go back to work. All right, well, let me do this. Let me just say this way. If you have a question about Facebook ads that you would like answered, either leave it in the comments below this video, or even better, if you haven't already, join our Facebook group, which is called Facebook Ad Questions. You could find that, I'll put a link to it in the notes of this video, but you can also just search Facebook Ad Questions in Facebook and you'll find it. It's an awesome group of people, I think, and I try to drop in there a couple times a day, but I'm also trying to, oh, Ron, I just saw that pop up somewhere else. You guys say you're leaving comments, but I'm not seeing them. I am not seeing them. All right, hang on. Let me, I'm not sure where you were leaving those, actually. Let me try something else. It says right here, comments will appear here, but there are no comments. So I definitely have an issue there, don't I? Let me see something. Sorry to be like, I don't know if you guys can see me tapping on you or what. No comments. Okay, that's odd. All right, well, I'll have to work on that for my, maybe I'll have to do a trial run with a couple of you guys who can help me work out the comment. Yeah, I see your messages, Ron. They're like just showing up as notifications on the top, like regular notifications on my iPhone, which are just coming over the top of this. But nothing is showing up in the comments on the Facebook Live. So I don't know. We'll figure that out for next time. Someone will help me troubleshoot that. Sorry about that, you guys. So if you have questions, the best way would probably be to leave them in the Facebook group, or like I said, below the video. Oh, you guys can see each other's comments, but I can't see it. Don't see, Ruben. I can see Ruben just left me a messenger. Don't tap me like that. Man, I can't. I'm sorry, you guys, that I can't see you. This sucks. All right, well, we'll figure it out. I knew there would be an issue on our first one. Ron says not here in a message, would love to see how you do this. I'll definitely show you guys, especially once I have worked out the kinks, because until then, I don't want to show you how to do something that I don't have working quite right. Okay, wait, let me just try one thing. All right, I'm going to turn you guys around because we're all friends here, right? You're probably going to look outside here in just a second. that didn't solve it. I'm wanting, so Ron, where are you leaving these comments that I'm seeing? All right. Oh, Ron again. All right. Anyway, well, oh, Facebook Messenger. Okay, same as Ruben. All right, you guys, we'll sort it out next time. This has been instructive, if nothing else, and I see most of you have hung with me through the whole thing. Anyway, that's it. I hope this was helpful, hopefully, and not too weird. So for now, until our next one, this is Kim Snyder at the International Shed Quarters of Sync to CRM, signing off. See you guys. Have a great week.